Growth hack your brand and then destroy anything that moves.
You need to grind hustle your platform manifest.
It's all about entropy, elegance, and finance. Blockchain.
Invest in real estate every day.
Invest in meal estate every morning.
You need to mind hack the mind shackles that are grabbing your mind. Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneur. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a day. Eat the man who just fished and you'll eat for a lifetime.
Spartans!
Business
money hacks. Hi everybody, I'm Bridge Stewart.
And I'm Dustin Taylor Hahn. Welcome to Business Money Hacks. Today we want to talk about the market.
The stock market, the market as a whole.
I mean, that's economics 101, the bear market, the bull market.
It's a big market out there. And, there's been a lot of talk these days. We've been hearing a lot of sort of whispers that there might be a recession.
I think it's due time, too. The last recession was 2008.
It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time for a good cleansing of the market, as we like to call it.
As you like to call it.
As I like to call it. I love a good cleansing.
So you mentioned whispers. There's a reason why there's whispers of the recession. I mean, this has been going on for a millennia, an eon.
A lot of people whispering. And when I say whisper, I mean like whispers on Wall Street. There's literally like a bunch of guys on Wall Street who like sneak around.
I would call them a guild. They're cloaked. They wear dark cloaks, and I'm pretty sure they're not allowed in to.
I mean, I wouldn't let that person into my house.
No, but they somehow make it in, and it's sort of a tradition. Of these sneaky men that sneak in and whisper to the brokers, to the stockbrokers.
A recession is on the horizon. It's on the horizon.
Sell your stocks.
Invest in Apple.
Sell.
S&P 500 down.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with it because they get very close to the ear.
Yeah, it's pretty frightening to imagine that going on in a major metropolitan area. These men sneaking around and whispering at each other. I've never liked it, but you're not going to argue against the stock market, are you?
Honestly, we're not really supposed to talk about the guild.
No,
they're sort of a secret society, but
this was a mistake. Yeah,
we don't deal with that anymore.
No, we're done with that.
When was this? This was in the 80s.
This was in the 80s. Bunch of investors, they were tired. They were tired of, playing chance here with the market, because that's what it is. It's all chance. And so what they did was they sort of kind of created a symbol of the market in a way. They all pooled their money together and bought an island, and they put a bunch of bears and a bunch of bulls on this island. No food.
They wanted to keep the bulls and the bears hungry.
You got to be hungry in this business. And literally hungry were these bulls and bears. And so what they would do is every year they would go to this island and paint the bears red, because bulls hate red. And these bulls would charge the bears. And if the bulls were able to gore these bears to death, that meant it was a bull market for the year.
And if the bears could find a place to hibernate, that means it would be a bear market.
It would be a bear market.
Interestingly enough.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's just where we're coming from. I can't tell exactly what goes on this island, but let's just say there might be a recession coming up.
Yeah. The bears, they managed to outspeed the bulls. They survived.
Let's just say they survived this round.
They were able to eat their cubs in the cave and hibernate.
I mean, we probably said way too much here. Let's bring in our guests.
Yeah.
These men, deeply involved in real estate for a few years now. Great guys. James and Orenthal. James and Orenthal.
Simpson brothers, that's correct. Yep.
Great.
So happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's great to see
you. Thanks for having you on the show.
In a while. You guys spend a lot of time out and about.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are movers and shakers.
You guys are night owls.
We are night owls. Daytime is for business. Nighttime is for play.
Most of our clientele are morning people, I would say. And so it's important for us to be up early, just hitting the community centers and spending time with the people who have brought us all of our wealth.
Who have really keep this engine going.
Got to keep the engine going. How is it you guys fuel this engine?
As you know, we've been doing the circuit, the seminar circuit, teaching people our ways to wealth through buying and selling real estate. But I think what makes us different is that everyone knows you got to spend money to make money.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can spend less money, well, you can make a lot more money.
That's right. Everyone thinks the secret to flipping a great house is buying it for less, selling it for more, and they couldn't be more dead wrong.
Really?
The truth is, you don't want to buy a house at all. That's the secret to success.
Wow.
It's not a buyer's market. You're saying that it's a reverse. You're saying that bears should be attacking the bulls.
I could not have put it more clearly myself. The traditional way is to go after foreclosures, look for people who are down on their luck, families who are about to lose their homes. That's a great way to turn a buck, but you're still spending money on those foreclosures. Banks still want something in return for it. So what we try to do is we try to find ways that we can minimize those costs.
Right, and what he's really talking about is the more you can meet older folks who are 80s, 90s, but still own their own home. It's a perfect opportunity to get to know them and really try to ingratiate with them. Try to earn their trust in any way that you can. You want to be on their will. So, you want to inherit their homes. So, that's the kind of stuff that we do in our seminars.
We like to share the secrets of the trade, but we try to show people the back door into being able to become wealthy yourself.
But really, you're trying to meet new, older folks. You're trying to make them distrust their family. Because the bigger the family, the more skeletons in their closet, and you can really take advantage.
I think you go to your friends, people who are looking to unload a house, and you're like, oh, well, I'll take it off your hands. And then once you gain that trust,
you start telling them all about how their granddaughter is someone that they can't trust anymore because their granddaughter has been sleeping around town. Not the way they used to do it in their generation.
Where are you finding these people? In the parks? I mean, where are you going?
You want to go into a place like a community center, a nursing home. Sometimes the nurses there and those nursing homes,
They might be looking at you.
Yeah,
and
they
a little
can be a little suspicious. Let me be honest with you. There are con men that walk into those places. They got to keep an eye out, and I think that's a really good thing. It's a really good thing for them to have an eye out for.
So you really got to ingratiate yourself also with the nurses at these places. You go and you do community service. They trust you. And then when you walk back in there, it's no problem. You're just hanging out with the people you've been doing activities with.
Yeah,
the concept of this, sort of kind of like penny stocks.
Precisely
like people
right.
that, maybe these old people don't have a lot of money. Trick is to get a lot of these old people. It's like, Grandma, I'm here. I'm your granddaughter. Give me your money. I'm sure they would do that because
older folks have a vivid imagination. And I think that's what's so wonderful about older folks.
Well, their brains are deteriorating.
And you want to just tell them, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm here to be your friend.
And you do whatever you gotta do for them in that situation. So if they miss their husband, you're gonna eat that pussy out.
Oh.
Sacrifices have to be made in the real estate market.
In the real estate market,
I'm
in
sure.
any market, sacrifice.
Any
You
market.
do have to sacrifice.
You need to be a generous person. Another thing we like to do is encourage them to find their old passions. We met this old timer. His name was Gus. Now, Gus had a lovely 5-bedroom home over on Canyon Pass. Gorgeous
Georgia
place.
colonial. Spectacular.
Beautiful. The inside of this
Great
house
piece of real estate.
was immaculate.
And I'm covered in shiplap on the inside, and that is a really important thing for buyers to see.
They just love it. Now, Gus also had a 2-car garage. He had in that garage, he had a lift. He had an old classic car in there. And we said, Gus, you got to go back and you got to mess with your old car. Come on.
That's great. You're very supportive of
Yeah,
of
really
hobbies.
supportive.
It's all about support.
If you know what they're into.
Is you'll remind a guy like Gus, my friend Gus, about his old 65, and he'll say, you know what? I used to mess with that thing every day. I'd rotate the tires myself. I change the oil myself, and now I've been stuck in this nursing home. There's no way out.
And that's when you tell them that you're gonna leave the back fire door ajar that night, and if he sneaks out, well, you just might be waiting for him in the driveway.
So really what you're trying to do is you're trying to make dreams come true. Give them an opportunity to seek out the dreams, the nostalgia of their youth.
And then that night, he gets into my car. I drive him back to his place on Canyon Pass. This thing, it's gorgeous. I'm telling you, it's gorgeous. Now, he's still got the key, so he lets himself in.
So he comes home, he sees this old 65, right? He lets himself there because, he's an independent guy. And he goes, you know what this thing needs? That the tires are a little low. I need to fill them up with some air.
Fan-fucking-tastic. So what we do is we break out the tire jack. We start jacking that thing up. And we encourage Gus to do every single part of this all by himself, right? Great maneuver.
And what you're really trying to do is just show him how he can be independent. He can be tenacious.
And then Gus gets under that car, ready to change a tire. The guy's an idiot. You don't have to get under a car to change a tire.
you give it a little rock. There goes Gus. Hello, Georgian mansion. So really what you're trying to do is just encourage them to do what they love, and the rest is really history.
And I'm sure they appreciate the friendship. I mean, that's the most important part, right?
Definitely.
It's not though. Right. It's about getting the house.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. If we weren't abundantly clear, it's about getting the house.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. I wasn't following until you just acknowledged that just now.
Yeah, right.
Well, what I like about that generation too, there's some manly men in that generation, and you know,
the manly,
you know,
the
the greatest
Reynolds
generation. The greatest
the
generation.
greatest generation, the greatest. And what's so great about that is like you can go into these places and be like, hey, Grandpa, why don't we go rock climbing? And they're like, oh, I don't know about that. It's like, well, I thought you were a strong man.
Didn't realize we had a
Adventurous.
millennial on our hands.
Right? I thought you were great.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
you were
it.
part of the greatest generation. It seems like you're not.
Yeah, I think you just remind them of the things they did in the Southeast Asia, the kind of crimes that they committed then, and they're reminded of a time where where maybe they did bend the rules, or maybe they did go the extra mile for a thrill. And they
That's
started to
how
think,
many of them found their wives in the first place.
That's right.
well,
First wives.
Yeah, their first
Their
wives.
first wives,
The mother of some children.
Several children.
And I think what you'll find is that a lot of these folks, once you start giving a little push in that direction, well, they'll go rock climbing. Sure enough, they'll go
Yeah.
rock climbing.
Absolutely. They'll do all sorts
Beautiful
of stuff.
lease on life.
Mm-hmm.
That usually they last. Those elderly, they don't last long because they're old. So I mean, these
Shame.
shame,
A real shame.
dying from pure shame.
But at the
it's a shame how much they're dying from shame.
Yeah. And I think what you'll find, too, which is really a wonderful part of working with older folks, is that they're just as tenacious as younger folks. They want it, too. What I mean by that, suicide rates are very, very high in the elderly community. So any way that you can make their life a little more pointless is positive. So if you can tell them their loved ones don't care about them, fantastic.
Which is usually the truth. It's the truth.
yeah.
So really what you're trying to do is you're trying to spread the truth, you're trying to spread joy, you're trying to give them that push to be tenacious, and you're trying to make them feel like they're a burden on their loved ones. And if they're a burden on their loved ones, well, then they might move along a little sooner. But the truth is, what you really got to do, you got to make sure that you are the loved one overall. You want to be there for them in a loving kind of environment, and then you got to make them believe that they're a burden on you.
Yeah.
So that way, you are you're involved with them, but you're in their will, and you love them, and you're pushing them in the right direction. And then when they kick the bucket, you get their house.
It's such a sad thing, and that happens in our society. These elderly, they suffer from dementia. It's so sad. It's so sad.
It's horrible.
It's terrible. But you can also convince them that they're already in hell, and you can throw them off a roof and pretend if you get thrown off the roof, they can go to heaven.
But the sad thing is that elderly people fall off roofs all the time.
It's true. They don't know what they're
Especially
doing.
in our line of work. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I think elderly people, they want to feel independent. They want to feel like they can still do stuff. So you encourage them to clean out their gutters, to, rebrick their chimney.
Go for a swim in a river, a raging river. These elderly, I mean, the rate of elderly drownings in raging rivers has been skyrocketing
You
lately.
would be shocked. It's really a tragedy.
Now I have a big question about the family.
I'll say the funeral is the most uncomfortable part of the situation. Because, of course, you miss your new best friend with a Georgia colonial. It's very hard to sit there and see them get dropped into the ground. And while that's happening, of course, everybody's upset. And it's hard for them to believe that their old, decrepit family members are making new friends in the last week of their life that are so important to their life.
You remind them of their old war buddies or something like that, and you're giving them that experience again.
That's exactly
they
right.
remembered.
When they went to war, best friends for life, and they were friends for a week before their buddy Johnny got shot up by the Viet Cong.
Yeah, well, I was about to say that they're actually exhilarated before they head out, which is a really great thing that you give them.
The
It's just
exhilaration of snowboarding for your first time at age 88. That's a thrilling time. Bungee jumping at 82.
Yeah.
Our friend Ethel, oh my God, she looked fantastic out there.
She died doing what she loved.
or what you told her.
Her new love.
Or what you told her to love. Sorry.
Oh, well, you might have told her.
She loves bungee jumping.
Yeah.
She loved bungee jumping.
It was on the top of her bucket list. What we do, really, is provide opportunities
provide
for
a
our new
service.
friends to cross off things on their bucket list.
There's waterfall jumping, underwater cave diving, 93 lion taming. There's just so many opportunities. It's really a service. I mean, I honestly would like that when I'm old. I would love the idea of children and grandchildren supporting me through my life. But at the very end, I want a bit of a roller coaster at the end. And if that means signing over my will to someone who's willing to provide that roller coaster, then so be it.
You can't put a price on it. There is no price on that thrilling free diving with sharks that you always dreamed about.
Let me tell you a story about a friend of mine named Birdie. Now, Birdie was the type of guy who, let me tell you, he had a bucket list of bucket lists. Fucking gold mine, right? Fucking gold mine. So he had a list of maybe a dozen things on there. I mean, he wanted to go skydiving, right? He wanted to explore the coral reef, deep dive underwater. I mean, this
scuba
guy,
diving,
as a
sharks.
man in his mid 80s, we were gonna take as many as we could because this guy. I mean, he had this mid-century modern home right on Mulholland Drive. I mean, this thing was gorgeous, just spectacular, of the era.
It's perfect as is. The really frustrating thing about
Birdie,
is that, well, it was exciting. He was really good at all these bucket list items. He went bungee jumping. It was a thrill, and you know what? The next day,
He was
ready for the next
roaring
thing.
to go.
Let me tell you,
he had the energy
bungee
of a bull.
jumping is not as cheap as it sounds.
Okay.
And it was fantastic. He said, "What's next on the bucket list?" And we said, "Oh, Birdie, what's up next?"
Up the ante, yeah. What's the
Bert pal? And he said, well, he wanted to go in a hot air balloon for the first time. And he said, well, all right, hot air balloon. There's barely anyone there. It's just you and the operator of the hot air balloon. Perfect, right? Fucking you, me, operator. $1,000 the operator, no problem. He'll look the other way. Birdie wants to fly the thing. Now Birdie gets in the thing. He's like, I can fly this thing myself. There's not even going to be an operator on here. And he pulls the little lever on the thing. He lets the flame go up. I mean, this balloon's filling with air, and we know we're in pretty good shape, right? We're up in the air, right? I mean, we are high in the air, right? We're going higher and higher, right? It's a man and I are in the fucking basket with him, right? And James, he means me. So me and James were in the basket with him, and we started telling Birdie, hey, I hope you don't have any vertigo, Bert. And we give him a little playful shove, right? Now, Birdie. I mean, you won't believe how some of these guys, I mean, they are strong as an ox. I mean, even in his 80s, this guy, you couldn't push this guy around, right? You know what I'm talking about. So we're playing around with Birdie up there, and you know what Birdie does? He gets a little worried. Hey, we're just horsing around. We're just a couple of pals up here. We would never do anything to harm you, Bert. And he's like, I want to come down right now. So we let him come down. So we let him come down.
Oh, that must have been a fun trip.
Oh, you have no idea how expensive it is to pay for a private fucking hot air balloon, and then you gotta pay off the guy, make him look the other way. I mean, we're out $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 at this point.
No, Birdie the next day. He forgets all about the stuff from the night before because, he's deteriorating.
Yes.
Okay.
He wants to do some more shit on his bucket list. At this point, we're friends, but how close to friends are we really? We have to game plan a little bit. Okay, what are we going to do, Bird? Let's make this one really count.
This is when we realized there's no way we're getting a bird. I'll tell you what Birdie does have. He's got this little fucking Shih Tzu, right? He's got this little puppy, all right? He named the puppy after his wife, Rose. It's all he's got left in his life. Now, Shih Tzus, I don't know if you know anything about Shih Tzus, but they are not strong like ox, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, the next day, tragedy strikes, right? Birdie wants to go do another bucket list item. And you know what he finds in his bed? His little Shih Tzu loves getting under the covers, snuggling up with him. I don't know how that Shih Tzu found that knife in the bed, but it was playing with it like a goddamn bone. And the poor Shih Tzu didn't survive the night.
That's an important thing for people to know is that, you should really keep Shih Tzus away from butcher knives because they'll swallow them whole. They'll really swallow right down their throats.
They'll just go down on that thing like a duck with a hot dog. It was a real tragedy. That was it was really the first step for Birdie declining pretty quickly.
And probably demoralized. Demoralized would be an understatement. let me tell you, I've never been so happy to see a guy hanging from a fucking ceiling fan. You know what I'm talking about?
Wow.
So anyway, mid-century house. It's gorgeous on Mulholland. We're selling it. It's going on the market in about a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just a lovely home. Barely needed a flip. And you know what? I think Birdie would be really proud to see the hipster family that's going to move in there. You know,
You'd love it.
Yeah,
I could imagine.
Instagram photographer is one of the guys that's
Yeah.
been reaching out constantly about it. I mean, he's got a lot of money.
The beautiful full circle thing here is the family has their own Shih Tzu dog. And so it's like he's there with
Like
us.
the ghost of Rose. That's right. Yeah. Or Birdie. It's really troubling, actually. Yeah. Yeah. It keeps barking at the ceiling fan for some reason.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's just so remarkable how the elderly sometimes will just no matter what the stakes, they'll just cling on to life. That hot air balloon. Wow,
You guys
he
are hard
really
workers.
wanted in.
Oh, we're hard
I mean,
workers.
you guys are hard workers. You go the extra mile.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is a challenging, rewarding, and sometimes haunting lifestyle.
The one thing I also wanted to ask, because I had this experience as well. My grandfather passed away, and he had this sort of caretaker.
How much did you get in the will with your grandfather?
Well, I'm sort of hesitant to say this because kind of got cut, I would say, by like, I don't know, 80-90%. He had a bit of a caretaker involved, and boy, she was close with him in the last, I'd say, about 3 months.
Sure.
And her strategy that won over a lot of people. She at the funeral, she really went in there blubbing. Like she was just tears for days in that funeral, and
Well, she must have loved him dearly.
What was her name?
Catherine Marks.
Great student, Katherine Marks. She's a fantastic student. She came to one of our very first seminars.
Oh,
She knows design like the back of her hand. I have seen her flip houses and make them gorgeous oases for families to enjoy and really take the places that used to have kind of a, some of those old people singeing the nose kind of smells in the rugs, and she just tears those rugs right out, puts this beautiful hardwood floors on. She is a spectacular student, and
so you know her pretty well.
Yeah.
You've taught her things
Wow.
that you've learned, is what you're saying.
she's a pioneer. She's a trailblazer.
She really does a lot of it on her own.
Do you find that yourselves having to give yourself an alias? I mean, if you're flipping so many...
I know it's hard to believe, but we actually weren't born as Orenthal and James Simpson. That's a name that just came to us one day and
Came
felt
naturally.
Sort of a strong name. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be pretty common in that industry. I mean, I tried actually getting in touch with Catherine after she just I couldn't find her name anywhere. She must have changed her name.
She is an eccentric young lady. She,
I think she's going by Erin Hernandez now.
Erin Hernandez.
That's right. But
Okay.
we can always reach out, and she can give
I
you
would
some
love
tips
that. I
on
would
flipping
actually
houses.
love that. If you could get me in touch with, I guess Erin Hernandez. Now, I would love to talk to Erin.
now where was your grandfather's home?
Deep Idaho.
Deep Idaho.
Deep Idaho.
Right in the center. Right center in Idaho.
Right in the center.
There's a
Seller's Market.
I mean, Idaho is one of the hot spots. We see a lot of growth in Idaho. Now, is the house still in the family?
No, she's able to get that house, and she sold it right off.
She was thorough.
The family home.
Yeah.
And gone now. That thing got flipped and torn down. I did a lot of memories. in
You
that
know what?
house.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it was probably a different Catherine. Catherine, what did you say her last name was?
Marks.
Katherine Marks. Yeah, that name. Maybe I'm thinking of Katherine Barks.
Yep.
I don't know if that was
Catherine Barks.
Yeah, she's.
We used to call her root beer.
We used to call her good old root beer.
Catherine Barks.
Yeah. I don't know if you know
Okay.
what. I'm
Okay.
sorry for
You're
mishearing.
saying that maybe you don't know
I mean,
this
I
high school
mean,
woman.
I would
think
still
it's-
love to get in touch with this Erin Hernandez.
Well, I don't know if that
think-
would do you much good. Yeah, I don't think. I think we're talking about
They
two
might be
different
two
people.
separate women, I suppose.
I don't. Yeah, I think your grandfather was probably. It was probably natural.
I'm starting
Bridge out
to
of his
question
will.
this more and more by the second in this place, but either way, I just would love to talk.
It
to
sounds
Erin
like the
Hernandez.
problem here is that you don't have a home that you loved, but if you want to get a home, take our seminar. and we can show you how to get a beautiful home that's not in the middle of buttfuck Idaho.
We'd love to extend 2 tickets for both of you guys.
And Bridge, if you think for a second that you can try and fucking threaten us here with all this talk of Katherine Marks on your fucking radio show, you got another fucking thing coming. Okay?
So both of you guys, guests, backstage passes, VIP tickets.
And we'll give you 1 VIP ticket to the top of a fucking roof. All right, Bridge? So why do you cut this shit? You gotta go on a hot air balloon ride? We'll fucking set it up. Okay, sweetheart? That guy fucking owes us one.
Guys, thank you so much for this invitation to your seminar that you're doing. I would absolutely love to go.
And you better fucking believe I'm gonna find Erin Hernandez. I'm gonna strangle her with my bare hands. I call them bare hands because I have the hands of a bear. They're that strong. And I'm gonna strangle Erin when I see her. And if you get in my way, I'm gonna strangle you too with my bare hands.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this seminar.
Nice to getting everyone together. We all 4 of us haven't really hung out in such a long time, and it's just great to see you.
It's been a while.
I would say the last time we saw each other, there was about 20 people not on my bucket list, if you know what I'm talking about. So you want to start throwing threats around, you got to think about the 20 people between you and the last time I saw you that are no longer with us. All right, I want you to consider that before you go after Erin Hernandez. I think this is easy. You think it's easy staring somebody straight in the eyes with your quote-unquote little bare hands? You don't have it in you, Bridge.
Guys, I think this has been a great episode, and I mean, it's been so great knowing you guys and interacting on the social scene as we do.
And you don't think I haven't strangled somebody? Watch the life fade out of their eyes. I like watching the life fade. I like seeing the expression, seeing what they're made of, seeing what's underneath, what the core of them is, and watching that fade. I love it. I live for it.
So yeah, thanks again.
Hey, and I gotta say, Bridge, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but you would make an excellent real estate investor. I gotta say, I think you got the goods. I think you got the goods, bud.
Thank you so much. All right, well, thank you for listening to Business Money Hack.
Yeah, this was a fine episode, and I think I've learned a lot, really.
It's been great.
Yeah, absolutely.